Welcome to Mr. Pows semi-off-meta One Piece tournament. We have gathered 4 lucky contestants who all have their eye on a big prize. How this single elimination tournament works is players will battle out to get to the top, and if you make it to the top, you'll be faced with a tough decision. Take home a sealed box of OP09, or take on the big boss Mr. Pow to upgrade to a box of Premium Booster 1. One of the most iconic reprint sets that will ever be released for the One Piece card game. Let's begin this round of the tournament, and good luck to all of the contestants. So here's going to be our starting deck list for this first round here. I'm going to shrink my face and move it around for you guys. So obviously we have our leader right here, Gecko Moria. Gecko Moria being an amazing leader in the OP06 format, even into OP07 a little bit, but he did fall off. He was very not relevant anymore. But recently has had a resurgence because people are playing cards like Negative Hollow, which forces your opponent to discard cards. Obviously, you're using cards like the Pudding, which forces your opponent to discard cards. You're using Lucci, which is forcing your opponent to discard cards. And up here to the top right, we have Perona, which forces your opponent to discard cards. These can come back from the grave, some of them, especially the Perona, primarily and actually only, but from the leader effect of ×1 Dawn when attacking, tap 2 Dawn. Similar to a Doflamingo effect, but the opposite. Instead of ×2 Dawn, tap 1, it is ×1 Dawn, tap 2. Giving you a trash 1 card from your hand, trash 2 cards from the top of your deck, and play 1 Thriller-Bark Pirates type character with a cost of 4 or less from the trash. So in this, we are playing a lot of hand removal. Hand removal is the name of the game. You're trying to hold all the resources while spamming out bodies on the board, and I think it's going to be a very fun matchup into our other leader. Our other leader obviously being Reiju, which I think Reiju is going to have a very fun time into this, being able to draw a card every single turn. So does this discard add up? Do we chain our Peronas over and over again? Or will taking out their resources be too much? Will they find their stage first hand? Will they find their stage first hand, or will they just be cooked? Because if you don't find your stage early, you don't do too much with Reiju. With that being said, I'm super excited to see this. They are running 4 of these Shigan Finger Pistols. Finger Pistol obviously carrying a 5 cost or lower. You're of course running Gecko Moria. You have Kaido, which forces your opponent to trash a card as well. Absalon for removal, paired with Ice Age. I mean, this deck is going to be very fun to watch, especially in a semi-off meta tournament. I think Gecko fits the par very, very well. The next list we get into is going to be Andy Nick's deck list here. It is a normal Reiju deck list. If you don't know Reiju, your turn once per turn when you go Dawn -1, draw 1 card. Or when a Dawn is just returned from your Dawn field to the Dawn deck, draw 1 card to make it in simple terms. That's too many words to say too little, as I usually do. In here, you're obviously running your Sora package, your usual Reiju package, where you're running 2 of your Nijis here. I run 3 in my personal build, but I understand running 2. I think this card it's great being able to bounce a 4 right now in the current format, but to each their own. Instead, they are choosing to run 2 of the Germa Kingdom, or the Germa 66 here, to search out the stage being in the top right here, being the most important card in this deck list. You need to find it just about every time. Similar to Black Maria, Black Maria has a lot of utility here, but it's not necessary for a high skill player, and that's what we'll have to see if Andy Nick is ready to take it on. We have 1 of the Kaya just to filter through the deck. You run the Porsche package being 4 Porsche, 4 Choppers, and 3 Ginas. Porsche will look at the top 5 cards and then grab a Foxy Pirates type. That is why you play a 2K counter that does absolutely nothing in the deck. It's just because it's searchable 2K off of an amazing effect, because you get to draw off Porsche and then play a purple character with 4,000 power or less, usually being this card to my right. Ichiji. Ichiji right here is going to play out Big Ichiji, and this is what Reiju does. The Big Ichiji has Rush and gives a character -2,000 power, allowing you to either control the board or swing in aggressively, or just lower down a blocker so you can get in more aggressively as well. You play the Reiju, which allows you to draw 2, and then again we go into Niji right here, which also has a baby, as so does the Reiju right above the Reiju. Niji bounces a 4 cost or KOs a 2 cost or lower. This is a very amazing deck, and I think it was really good in the OP07 format. The only thing that really held this deck back, in my opinion, was RP Law at the time, because as a Reiju player at the time, RP Law was just miserable. You just Dawn minus too much, where we don't get our effects. Our effects are only on if you do not have more Dawn than your opponent. So RP Law would always have less Dawn than us, and we would always have more, meaning none of our on plays activated. I think this deck is iconic if you started in that format or really soon in that format, similar to Gecko Moria. So I think there are 2 decks that are very on par with one another. I think, in my opinion, I think Reiju has the edge, just because even with the hand removal, I think they can just get resources back with their leader effect, but that does force them to go Dawn minus. So rather than taking cards out of hand, Gecko Moria is forcing our opponent to go Dawn minus. And so we'll just have to see how that adds up throughout the game, because I've never personally played the matchup against the hand discard Gecko. So we'll just have to see, guys. We're getting into round 1 right here, and we will see in just a moment. All right, we're getting straight into it. So we have Reiju. Reiju has just discarded, whoa, we just moved the whole thing. Just moved the whole stage right there. Grab the stage off the start for the German 66, and we call it a day, and we're good to go. We're off to the races here. We are seeing the side of Gecko Moria. Gecko Moria is obviously going to be really fun. They're going to force them to discard a card, getting the Black Maria out of hand. So that's going to be really cool. I can also tell you what they say. They pass turn over to the other player, and they drop the stage. We'll be able to get their point of view in just a second. I'll have to pause the game real quick. We'll wait till this turn is over, and then once it goes to our friend I Didn't Like It, who is playing right now as Pirate27901 from the UK, and we should be good. So forcing them to discard. No, they discard for the stage. The stage is gonna keep going, just finding them more cards. They find the Ichiji, and then drop the 2-cost Reiju. They get rid of that to draw 2 more cards. Their hands refilled. They're down to 2 Dawn, which is going to be very important here. Could you pause for me for just 1 second? Cool. Appreciate it. All right, so we're only going to get the point of view from the Gecko. The other one, his stuff's not working for the recording, but we will get the Gecko's point of view here, getting to see what they are doing. So we won't know what Reiju has, but we can keep up with it. I will give you guys a casting of what's going into the hand. They trash the Ichiji, take the life. So they trash the Ichiji off of the Brona effect. The Brona effect forces them to discard a card. We have the Reiju down to 3 life. This game is going quick, guys. They revealed another Ichiji off the top of the deck. That is going to be Little Ichiji. They get the trigger off the top, which is going to be probably good to... Do you hold this or do you trigger it? That's the real question here. So we'll have to see what our teammate, or I guess we're not teammates, we're opponents. Guys, I was so excited for this, and I am now just very anxious because I have to cast this so fast. There's no pausing. There's no taking breaks. We're going straight ham-boning today. Ham-boning. So they do choose to get rid of the Reiju. I think that was correct because they're obviously going to drop the Ichiji here. So they're going to go 5 in a face and then a rapid 7. You're all good. If you want to, you can. But I'm just casting over it. And the other guy's screen wasn't working for the screen share. So I'm just going to be watching you. So no pressure here. Yep. You're running the fun side of Gecko. I don't blame you. I think it's fun. I think it's definitely different, which is cool. All right, so our Gecko player is choosing what to do. I'm trying to add the audio in so you can hear them on the Discord, but I don't know how to do that exactly. So this is our first time running the tournament. You will not be able to hear them, and they just said they are playing this because it's the side of Gecko they really enjoy rather than playing the usual KO everything, do as much as you can. We're getting swarmed by cats already. Our Gecko player is deciding what to do. They choose to go 4 into Gecko. This is showing weakness. Let me tell you that right now. So they're choosing a card to discard to then play out another character, playing Hogback, returning 2 cards from trash to deck, and then getting to draw 1 card with the Thriller-Bark Pirate type. Grabbing the negative hollow is very interesting to discard more cards, but in my personal opinion, I don't think that's the right choice, only because this player is being able to draw every turn. You already know they have a Reiju in trash. You're trying to clear their board. They easily give you 2 cards here on average, and then 5 in a face they probably can counter out of as well. Our Reiju player is playing a lot of cards to draw, of course, obviously with the 4-cost Reiju, and then just the leader ability alone is all you need. They said a pudding is a good thing to get out of hand. I 100% agree with you there. I don't know that it would do too much because of the tempo of the gameplay here, but you never really know, especially already having, 7 cards, so if they swing really aggressively, it shows they're going for board rather than face. No, it shows they're going into face. Face is the place here. We'll have to see what they do. Our Gecko player only has 1k counter left, so they have to take here, and this could be the beginning of the end. Seeing if they have another Ichiji, which we did see earlier, which no, instead they play Reiju. Reiju being very good to draw more cards, refill the hand, and that's going to be really tough for the Gecko. It's just like what we talked about earlier in the game. We're hovering over the Kaido here. The Kaido being really good because it will clear the Ichiji very easily. Our Reiju player is still searching. Oh my goodness. Gourmet God is going crazy with it. This is going to be some fun matchups all in all, so this is going to go very quickly and very fast. Well, I guess those mean the same thing, I guess, at this point. So we could go Perona and the negative hollow, get 3 cards out of hand, but then we can't clear the board because we're only on 8 Dawn here. We also have the Gecko Moria playing maybe the Cerberus and then into the Perona, but we grab the Perona out of trash, so we cannot grab that Perona. We could could go for Absalon from trash, rest, and then the active Cerberus blocker to then clear out the Tony Chopper blocker, and then swing 5 and 5 in a face. Because I think you have to go aggro in a face, ignore the Ichiji at this point in the game. They're trying to decide. You could also go Helmeppo Absalon, which I guess could be good. But you do know they might have another, or you don't know, but there's a chance they have another Ichiji. With how much filter they can do, I would not be surprised. So choosing to go 7 here, I think you have to get rid of something with non-counter, which is very good. They choose to give -3. Wow, that was very interesting. Not what I expected, but I can see why you would. Maybe it baits out to the block. Maybe they take that. It is the bait. He just said, do they take the bait? They took the bait. They did take the bait. I guess they didn't take the bait. You clear it out. Now you've cleared board. I think that was the best play. I did not even see that line, honestly, guys. As a non-Gecko player, that is not what I saw. Interesting, interesting. So we go straight into it here. We are in round 1. And again, remember, this is my first time casting a little mini tournament, especially with this much on the line. So usually I'm just casting myself, just talking a lot of smack. But here I'm kind of the middle ground guy. It don't matter who wins. I would love to see either deck win here, and I want both of my friends here to be successful. So this is very interesting, just watching over 2 players who aren't me. You know what I'm saying? So they could drop down the Ichiji here. They could be showing they have the Ichiji. Just going 7 into face saying, do you have counter? You don't. And you still don't get counter. That's game if he gets Ichiji. If he has an Ichiji in hand, he has the Ichiji. That's going to be GG's. That's going to be GG's right there. So much pressure so fast from the Reiju player. Only 1k counter. Bricked up in the end, my friend. Dang. I think the discard's hard into Reiju just because she refills her hand every turn. GG's though. Thank you so much for joining in, and I'll definitely get you in for another one because I want to do more of these in the future where it's not just single elimination, just you're out, especially because, like you said, this is 12 o'clock at night for you. I know that's crazy. That was it for round 1 of the tournament, and as you saw, Reiju really took the cake and ate it too. Reiju was just on a roll, and I really appreciate all the people who joined, though. That's all I want to say real quick. Thank you guys so much for everyone who joined, and thank you guys so much for subscribing, liking, joining the Discord down below, getting into the next tournament, because we will be doing one again. I don't know when, because I have a life too, guys, surprisingly. But I do appreciate everyone who made sacrifices just to be into a tournament, and then some of them not even win. So I appreciate the time you gave me, just as a small YouTuber trying to give you some free packs. So thank you guys so much, and as you can see, obviously the video is going to be a little scuffed. I didn't have Discord until the very last round. We're only doing 1 round, and then we'll do a full movie, basically, of all the tournaments back to back to back. So we're starting with round 1, tomorrow will be round 2, the day after that will be round 3, and we'll finish with round 4 against me, and then the full movie on day 5. I'm super excited to bring that all to you. Anyways, I love you and your mama. I'll see you for round 2 tomorrow. Peace. We are in round 2 of the Mr. Pow tournament, as you just saw in the intro, and we're taking Bello Betty. Whoa, did I just flip my camera around? How did I do that? What? Crazy. We're going on Bello Betty right here. You know Bello Betty is a very iconic deck on the channel because I've been playing it for a little too long. You've seen videos on it way back when that they're so old I don't even have the pictures anymore to show you on the screen. Bello Betty being an amazing leader that says activate main once per turn, trash 1 Revo Army type character from your hand or card from your hand, up to 3 of your Revo Army type characters or characters with trigger gain plus 3,000 power. This deck list primarily plays in the Revo Army. I think there's actually no cards that are not Revo Army here. Keeping the stage for consistency is very interesting. I never personally played the stage, but I did do a deck list on the channel that did. I never played it at locals, I should say, because I'll play anything for you guys. Here we have 2 of the Raise Max to give -3 to a character. This card is kind of difficult in my opinion to pull off because usually you just want to go straight to face, but there are points where you can't. Again, there's so many amazing cards in this deck. You look to my right. See, we have to check every single time. We got to do the 2 fingers up, figure out which direction's which. Karasu right here. Karasu giving minus to my whole frick setup. Holy cow, he gave minus to everything. Like a leader, he can give minus 1,000 power to a leader, which is really amazing to put on aggression, and you can cheat it out with his Emporio and Ivankov. Karasu can obviously also target characters, but when paired with Ivankov, you usually go for a leader because that is so much aggression. Even your 5k leader is now forcing out a 2k, and it's forcing me to die slowly. In here, you play 2 of the Dragon, an amazing rush option in any red deck, and a little too pricey for my opinion of being just an SR that is about $10. I mean, I see why. It's an amazing card. I'm just glad I got my playset. This 5 cost Ivankov I think is very, very important into the deck, and I think having 3 of is very interesting. Maybe that is why we play the stage over here below me, because the stage can definitely help. With this Ivankov, it plays a 4 cost or lower Revel Army type character from the top of your deck, from the top 3 cards. So there's only, what, 5 cards in here that whiff on it? No. You have 2 Koalas, 1 Sabo, 2 Dragons, that's 5. You have 2 of the other Ivankovs because you'd already have played 1, so that would make us at 7, and then you have the 3 stage. So that puts us 10 cards total whiff, meaning that 4 out of 5 cards in your deck will hit for this. And so I think you're pretty safe to play this and feel like you're not going to whiff. So that's probably why we're going really hard into the Revel Army type. Inazuma is a good rush option. Koala is an amazing 2K. I think this deck is very good, and I think it's well suited for the format. I mean, just when you have a smaller card pool or deck list, you're not playing meta lists that have 5 life, which is most of the lists we had in the banned side of things. I think this deck, I think I need to figure out how to stop messing up my whole screen. I think this deck is going to do really good in the format, so we'll just have to see how it goes, guys. Let's check out the Katakuri list, and then we'll get into the game. And here we have the Katakuri list. This one's going to be fun. This is actually crazy that I'm going to tell you guys this now. One of the people from my locals actually got into this tournament, which is Courtney. Thank you so much for joining, and you guys should join the Discord just like she did, because you can play in the next tournament, which would be a lot of fun. So we are starting with Katakuri. Most people know what this deck does. It is a yellow leader. Most people like yellow. Yellow is just way too hype. It's a really good color, but for me, it's a little too much of just luck, and I don't have that, so I don't play it. This leader saying times when dawn when attacking, look at the top 1 card of yours or your opponent's life, place it at the top or bottom of their life cards, and then this leader gains plus 1000 power. The main pairing with this card from the life is going to be this 0 cost event. This 0 cost event to my left, right here, well, left there, is going to be a very strong card in the format, making it where you just, if it's the last life card in your life, discard 1 card from your hand, gain 1 life, meaning that you can just win the game by not losing it. And so this deck does have a little more skill than something like a Nell that will randomly trigger it. This one you can actually set up. And if you don't set it up and you get it, you're just lucky. So we'll see if that happens today. You can also pair it obviously with a Capone Beji. Beji just meaning it has a trigger that says one of your opponent's characters cannot attack, which can sometimes win you games. You have Sanji blocker, just getting a blocker on the board can sometimes just win you games. Getting an extra body like this Frankie here that also allows you to draw 1 card can just win you games. This Sparrow trigger gets you another body on the field, which wins you games. There are so many pieces here that can just win you games. They even play the 2 cost Nami, which has Banish, which I don't think the Banish is the main reason people play this in Katakuri. The trigger saying KO a 5 cost or lower character, literally just getting you so much tempo, and it doesn't cost something like this Nami right here. This Nami to my right is an on play, discard 1 card from your hand, and then 1 card with trigger specifically from your hand, KO a 5 cost or lower, and then draw 1 card if you have 3 or less cards in hand. Being very specific to fill up your resources and a little too much cost to work for the trigger, because the trigger just says activate this character's main effect. And so the Nami just gets that trigger for free, or the Onami I should say, which is kind of really good. So we'll see how that does today with all of the triggers. You're usually playing Flampe's right here, which take a life and draw a card. I don't think it's played as much in Flampe's played as much in Katakuri as it is in something like a Nell, but it's definitely a really good piece if you need to take life. In this matchup against Bello Betty though, I wouldn't recommend it. We obviously have Parasparrow, 10-drop Big Mom, 10-drop Big Mom being the whole reason you play this deck, trashing one of your opponent's life, and then you gain a life all in 1 turn while developing a 10-drop 12k on the board is kind of crazy. Obviously you have 8-drop Katakuri, and we've gone over everything else, Kikinojo just being a trigger out of life, and then 7-drop Big Mom, basically doing Big Mom's effect, but your opponent chooses 1. So either your opponent trashes a life or gives you a life, but you don't get both. Meaning, this card is just the whole reason we're playing the deck, is the 10-drop Big Mom right here. This is one I'm super excited to see because I think it's 2 yellow decks paired against each other, and we don't know how either one's going to trigger out, because if Bello Betty hits all their triggers, they're good. If Katakuri hits all their triggers, they're good. If nobody hits their triggers, we're in for a good one. Guys, let's get to the game right here, and I just can't wait. I just can't wait. Let's see how they do. Now we've got Bello Betty versus Katakuri here. This is going to be a very interesting matchup for sure. We'll have to see how this goes. The Katakuri gets to choose. They won the dice roll, basically. And they take first. They get into the Parasparrow on curve and the Luffy or Nami on curve. I think that's a good keeper hand. You have 2 signs of removal there. I think a mulligan would be bad. But if we sit here and jump over to our other player's hand, let's see what they're starting with. So we're starting with the stage, Bello Betty. I think this is pretty good. Yeah, you're good to go. Yeah, you're good. You're good. I figured out how to do it quicker. You're good to play. I don't want to be a distraction for you. That is very nice, especially in this matchup. All right, so we saw the stage off the top. We saw the Bello Betty. He was explaining his thought process there with the 5-cost Ivanka being very important for the Bello Betty deck, which I 100% agree with. That is a great take right there. Now, the stage he was very adamant on, and me personally, I never have, but maybe I'll learn something new from our friend over here. So, Micah, you might teach me something cool. We'll have to see, though, in the end. They do counter out of the 5K, meaning that there is a Parasparrow coming down for our Katakuri player, because they did counter out aggressively, I might add, and I don't know that I would do that, but we'll have to see. We jump over back here to the Bello Betty. 3 might be a little much. Good, nice. So he cannot hear me, but he's going to be sitting here talking. I think that you'd be a little surprised, but he cannot hear me. He's going for the buff, getting the Karasu, and then should swing the Bello Betty first. That's correct. Yep, 100% correct. And then 5 in a face. And I think our Katakuri here should be starving him out. I think that's smart, just to keep the aggro on. So we'll have to see what our Katakuri does for the follow-up here. We are not at 2 life, so the Luffy effect is not active. You do not have 5 cards in hand to be playing the Nami to discard 1 to draw. So we're going for clearing board here, it looks like, and I think I would be starving my opponent at this point. Just taking all their resources, especially at this point of the game, not even swinging with the Parasparrow. I think this is a very good play. I think you get rid of the 0-cost event. I don't think you get rid of Luffy. Yep, because they... I don't think so. Because this is an aggro deck. If you're not swinging, they're swinging you. And I think you can clear up the board. But that's just my personal opinion. I'm not, the one playing here. So we'll have to see if they get a trigger out of life here for the Bello Betty. And it looks like no trigger. So we'll move on back over here to Micah. Alright, let's see what you got, buddy. We do have the 5-cost Ivankov, which is going to be very good in this situation. I think that's going to help us at least fill out the board, but then we won't have our Karasu effect. We have to nullify our Karasu effect at this point. I think we need to go for a board. That is true. So something I don't think he realizes is that you could just play down the 4-cost and then put 2 Dawn on the Ivankov 4-cost and then go from there, to develop that extra body. But there's nothing to cheat out at this point. He goes for the Inazuma. I think I would have gone for the Koala, personally, because at this point, you could use it this turn, really spam out the board. That is a really bad pool. But you could play out the Koala here, give minus 3,000 power to the Parasparrow, and then swing into the Parasparrow, leaving your Karasu's active, so you can continue going on with the game. We'll have to see what you decide here, what you got for us, Micah. I'm excited to see the take. I think this is going to be a very fun finals either way once we get into this next round. We're going for blockers instead. Interesting. Searcher Betty looking at the top of the deck. That is a lot better. So at least getting the blocker on the board is good. But that is non-counter. Yep, so it's up to him to decide. He said that's non-counter. Perfect. And then we move back to the other player. Well, no, we get to swing. Can't ignore a swing here. So definitely have that on the board. So he's going 5 into face here, which is what he decided to go into face, and they get 1 card out of hand, which I think was the goal. He's got a tough decision to make here. But would she let it go? That's the question here, Micah. I like this take. I think that was correct. Yep. There you go. You got exactly what you wanted. And they grabbed the 7 Lin, and he said... That is true. This is a fun matchup, guys. It's cool to hear their thoughts. No, I did not. What were your options? You got lucky. 1 option. So in case you can't hear what she said, I only had 3 choices. Kikunojo, Beji, or Linlin. And I could only grab Linlin, so I was very lucky if you want to call it that. So 5 into the Karasu. I think you let the Karasu go at this point of the game. I don't think it's worth countering because you're already low on hand size. You didn't take the Koala. You know you're dropping Dragon. So at this point of the game, I think it's safe. Ooh, to counter is wild. That's very interesting. That was a very interesting take. Now you give up the blocker at this point, because if you give up anything else, I think that puts you in a bad spot. This is a very aggressive deck list we're going against. So I don't know if that take was correct. I think you do block out here. If you're going to really save this Karasu, you should not give your hand. You should give the blocker because you still have 3 bodies on the board. The Karasu being a 7k, that does give minus 1,000 to the leader. Yep, exactly. So we block out, and then we are going to play 7 Mom and get a life anyway. So we will be our opponent's going to lose a life. I'm assuming the Bello Betty takes the life into trash, but you don't really know. I think with the aggression, you could go either way. Right now, our Katakuri player is in the front runner seat, I think. I think it was just a few. I think not taking that first life really puts you behind with your leader effect, having to ditch a card every turn. But who's to say? There's always a turning point in the game, whether it's early or late. It's just, what do you see? They do exactly as we said, and then it looks like we are going to switch back over to Micah's position here. Nothing left to play, and we go to Micah. Do you feel good about taking the life, or would it have been better to do the other way? What do you think? So to give you a little Mr. Pow voiceover here, he's basically saying, I know I can get rid of this Nami on the field, so I know they won't have lethal with my 2 life. If they drop a 10 Lin, I can counter out of the 5, and I'll still be safe. So that's basically what he's saying, just to give you a rundown of what I've got going on in my ears, so that you're not just listening to nothing. I can at least explain it to you and fill in this time. Smart, smart. I think that's a really good play. I like that, I like that. I think you go for something to get... No, you can't grab the brick. Yep. And now he's basically explaining like what's going on in his hand and stuff. Don't just know that I'm not telling him what to do. I'm just listening to what he's saying. I have pushed. So we are going for the trash. Yep, that's smart to keep that alive. You should swing Nami, give minus 1k to the leader. Smart, smart. Okay, this is the right way to do it. I like how he's cooking up. Yeah. Yeah, he's got the closer ready. He said he's got the Inazuma. I like that play. I like that a lot. He's cooking up with this Bello Betty list. This is a lot more control than I expected. Wow, this is really popping off. So, a 0-cost trigger. A trigger right here could be brutal. Another 7 Lin is bad, they said. Because then they can go 8 and 9. Oh, he doesn't realize. Oh my goodness. He doesn't realize the 7 Lin is horrible for him. Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, you don't lose because you just don't give them life, or you have to give them a life. They are running a lot of KO trigger there. It does save Dragon, but what else does it do for you? And that's where I'm at. Now he's talking about deciding whether or not he's going to swing with this Dragon, because putting it sideways basically means it's guaranteed to die if our opponent's not going for lethal. So do you want to lose this big body or not? I need you to comment down below if you think he should swing this character. Rygo. I can't tell him that, but there's a chance they run Rygo. Which one do you do, my friend? No worries, take your time. I think swinging's the best option. I think you have to take that chance. You still have the rush option. So you still have 3 swings, and you have the Inazuma. I think you're safe to swing here, because you're only losing... I think you're just overthinking it here. I don't even remember what was in the other guy's hand. I don't remember what's in Courtney's hand. That is 3 swings. That would finish off the game. But then you're playing that they don't have triggers next turn. So either you play it this turn or you play it next turn. Yep. I 100% agree. He says, even if it's Beige though, then I'm just in trouble. So, but you do know they left the life at the top, meaning that it is not Beige. So we know this trigger is not Beige, because if they swing the 9, you know it's not Beige now. You don't know what the bottom one is, and I don't believe we know what the bottom one is, or if they moved it. So let me explain. Basically, they hit a Brulee trigger on the last swing. So whenever we swung the Ivankov, we did see a trigger with the Brulee 2k counter that left the life at the top of their life, meaning that it would not be a trigger because you have a 9k swing coming in. You would not waste a Veggie trigger on a 9k swing when you can't stop any other attacks. So basically, that's explaining my thought process here and why you should probably swing and not worry about being a veg. So we just pass a turn and choose not to swing. That could be the turning point. We'll have to check in on the hand. Whew, that was a lot of pressure there for our friend Mike. Cortland is now on the draw, on the play. We're at 9 Dawn, so we can't fully even go in. We could just go for a banish, really trying to stay active here. So what I would do is go I think you overthought. I think you did too much. I think I would have gone banish life. Would that have, and then, oh yeah. So I would have gone banish life. With the Katakuri, swing in, force either the card out of hand, and then clear up the board maybe? I don't know. We do see the 7 Lin that he said he did not want to see, but he knows he does not die. So it's either you win this turn or you lose, and they only have 3 up to 4 swings. We'll have to see how this goes.
It's all back to Micah. Micah, this is scary. We have an... Basically, he's explaining that she should have played the Charlotte Linlin first, because then it would have put on the pressure where they have to give the opponent a life, rather than at that point they knew they would not die because their opponent already went for clearing the board. 100%. Yep. It does not. You just discard it for Cleonina Zuma, leader effect. It's all in this turn. You win or you lose. 7, 5, 12, and 5 with 7 Dawn. This is a very aggressive swing. Now Mike is basically just doing the math of what are the proper swings, because they still have 5 cards to life, and every single one of these almost have to hit, especially if there is some kind of trigger at their life, because they do just lose the game if you hit one of those 5 cards in hand still to life. Yep, I agree. It's best to at least get a little info and a couple cards out. It doesn't matter right now if you invest, but now is the good time. You know the top one's not beige. We know it's not beige because they left it on top with only 1 swing, guaranteeing it's not beige, because you would save that for your last life, moving it to the bottom. But we did see that in the last turn, when they did check their life with a Brule 2K counter, that they left it at the top with the Dragon Swing open. So we have to see 8, 9, 12, we says. 8, 9, 12. Dang. Yeah, that's what you gotta do. You gotta leave this character active and just hope. Oh, you can swing in. Yeah. I mean, honestly, yeah, you can swing in. Hope it's not a trigger. Hope it's a Karasu. Fingers crossed, Karasu. Let's go. Oh, it didn't matter in the end. We dropped the 10 drop on them and just call it game. My goodness. That was a crazy top deck. The 10 drop top deck. How does that feel? Yeah. As you saw, that matchup with Katakuri and Bello Betty went a little more wild than I thought, both not having too many crazy triggers, and it coming down to the last straw. I mean, at the end of the day, it was such a close match, being a super aggro match into a life burn aggro kind of strategy based off triggers on both sides. I mean, that was just a fun one to watch. Today we will be having Katakuri versus Reiju, and tomorrow we will get into the 4th and final round, if they choose to take me on in the end, for the chance to win a premium booster box. And I'm super excited if they do win it, and if they don't, they still get prizing. So at the end of the day, it's a win-win-win, because I got you guys to subscribe and like and comment because of all the awesome content, because I know you will, right? Well, let's just get into the Reiju and Katakuri matchup. We're going straight into the game. No deck list today. You can view the deck list if you watch yesterday's video. Thank you guys so much for joining, and I will see you for the next tournament or the next One Piece deck profile very soon. Let's get into the game. All right, we got Reiju right here, choosing to go first, of course. They are a purple deck, and you keep that every time of the day. You start with your stage, you win the game. I'm telling you, as a Reiju player, that's all you do. So I'm not sure if you guys can hear them. I need to get that fixed for the next tournament, and I apologize to all of our contestants because they were super cool. Literally everyone was super nice. We had a friend who was from the UK even, who was joined in here at 12 o'clock at night. Thank you to everyone who's joined in. Genuinely, this has been so much fun. I definitely want to do this again. I think we could do this at a bigger scale and just watch maybe the top tables and do something like that. So anyways, let's continue the game here. We join into the other side. We start with 2 Sparrows, a Big Mom. Oh my goodness, this is all the top end you need, but nothing to do on a first turn. We're going to see a quick pass to the next one, and then we're going to be going back to Andy's hand. I'm not going to join in just yet because that would be a little unfair, because that'd be telling of what we have. So now we'll jump in over here onto the Reiju side of things. We trash the Niji, which is a very good choice, grabbing Ichiji being the best rush option in this deck, the only one. We're going to search the top of the deck, grab the big Ichiji, so now we know we're Jay chilling, and we can play Reiju out. But if we play Reiju out, we will be going down quickly in Dawn. So we're going 5 in a face here. We do take aggressively with the Katakuri. That is very interesting. So there's not a trigger. Dawn -1, play out Reiju, draw 2 new cards, 2 Ichijis now, and that's going to be a very good start for our Reiju player. We switch back over here to Katakuri's POV. We have a 2K, 1K, 2K, and then a bunch of bricks. How do we settle in this situation? Go 7 into face, you the top of your own life. Let's see what we have. We have an Onami trigger. I think that's going to be really good to leave at the top, just to get the trigger off on the Reiju in case they do miss sequence. We will have to see what our opponent does. They counter out aggressively to continue with the Reijus, possibly, knowing that they do have a few in hand, and then that gives us a little info as the player. We switch back over here to our friend, the Reiju player. It's a little laggy, but that's something that happens when we are in a Discord call, so just keep that in mind. We're going to start with 5 in face. They do not miss sequence, which is going to be very good. Just to make sure, we do know what the trigger on the top of our life is, so it is a good idea to possibly counter, and then they go into the Ichiji and then you get no effect out of it. So it's kind of up to you. It is going to be a 5/5/7, and you do know they have the Ichiji active. We did see them drop one, and we saw them draw one from the top 3. So what do you do here as a Katakuri player? This is a very difficult position, and we will have to see what they want to do. I don't even know which deck I would play into which game. I'm really tempted to go Boa right now, I'm not going to lie. Into the Reiju, I think Boa would do very well, but it also depends on how they're rolling and how we are, because we're just bouncing cards back to hand. I don't think that's the best, I don't think that's the worst, so we'll just have to see though. We don't know who's going to win. They choose to go Dawn -1, get out the Ichiji, draw, give -2, and then swing in aggressively again, and they will have to take this, taking the Nami trigger to then KO the Reiju. The Reiju will be KO'd, and then we switch it back over to our Katakuri player. Katakuri, what do we do? This is a tough spot. The pressure is on. She said, I hate Reiju so freaking much. My goodness, I can definitely see why, because we're trying to see what they have in hand. We know they have an Ichiji. We know they have a big Ichiji, which we did see. We don't have much other info. This is so difficult. She's searching through the logs, trying to figure it out, what to do here. 7 into 7. That shows, again, signs of weakness, I believe. Leave that on top to draw into it very soon, but then that's another brick. Do we want another brick at the moment? We do have 8-drop Katakuri for our next turn. They leave it at the top of their life. I think that's an interesting call. So they do take that. They don't know is that they have another one in their hand. I think you go 7 again with Paraspero and then play as Paraspero. Keep leaving counter in hand. Again, just all opinion here as the caster. I don't care who wins, because either way, I'm taking them on in the end. Let's go. Let's get it. So we'll have to see how we do here. This is a tough decision to make. They go all in on the Ichiji, not knowing there's another one in our opponent's hand right now, because they did draw it off the Reiju. So I think as the Reiju player, you do let that go, and we switch back over to Andy's point of view. So we've got it right here. This is going to be super cool. And go through. They only have the ability to grab the stage here. So now all they have is Reiju. So they just go 6, and then they go 7. It's really simple here. You have to counter out of this, in my opinion, because if you don't, you are going to be spread thin on life, that is. Because you're only going on to 8 Dawn on the next turn. But this is good, only having one Ichiji out. Drawing a card, they now have the Porsche as an option to ramp back up. 7 aggressively into face. So they are just putting pressure on, as they just said. I don't know if you're able to hear them again. So they are just putting pressure on in this game. And this is all about tempo and aggression here from our Reiju player. They counter out aggressively. Wow, that is really surprising to me. We'll have to see what Cortland's thinking about on that one. They draw into a veggie, giving them one less shot at it being in life. They go 5 into face. They should go 5 into face again. And then we should see a Katakuri drop down on the board. We'll have to see if that's the play. I think getting rid of the Ichiji, putting it to the bottom of life, I think would be a good option. No. Instead, deciding to go 7 into face here, and then maybe drop a 9 or a 7 land. Very interesting. Place that on the bottom, get rid of the Ichiji, making sure they won't have another one. You also could have left it on the top just in case, but they do take aggressively, possibly showing they don't have a 1k or 2k. We do know personally on this side of the things that they do have that amount of counter. They are kind of stacked over there on counter. So kind of wild they took aggressively. They do discard for the Germa Kingdom stage. They get rid of the stage and draw another Ichiji. Wow, that's kind of wild. So they have another Ichiji they could play, but nothing to play off of it. They could go Porsche into a blocker just to stay healthy, which is maybe the reason they played so aggressively, taking life. But we have not seen a 10 land on the Katakuri side. We do know that there's a 10 land on the 3rd life, but there's not much else we do have information on. They drop the Ichiji. Just searching through the deck, they do find the Black Bug. Black Bug being really good to bottom deck a 5-cost or lower character, making sure that Paraspero does not get the value that it should. 5, he says, going into the math of the game. Trying to decide if you do Porsche into the Tony Chopper, but knowing that we have 8k counter at least. So aggressively swinging in just in case there is some kind of trigger, guaranteeing they do get the 7 to know if they should commit the Dawn. They're going to go 7 again into face, handing them the Big Mom if they choose to take it, which I think with that information you should take here. Yep, so now you have the 10 Mom. They could go Porsche into another one, but they do not. They grab another Porsche. Very interesting, a non-counter card, but with this much counter, I don't think you need the blocker. Even with only having the 2 life, you draw and then gain a life rested and pass turn. Very quick and easy there. So we switch back over to our Katakuri point of view. We do see the Big Mom in hand. What do you do? Do you just go for the life burn and aggressively keep swinging in? Because this is getting down to a game of inches here. Only having having 4K counter puts you in a desperation spot, in my opinion. I think we go 5 in a face here, so we're showing we are going 10 drop Big Mom. We're going to gain a life and burn a life. We don't know the other lives that we have as far as I remember, but we aggressively counter out here. So 2Ks being a Black Maria, and I want to say that was Sora or something like that. We do have the blocker on board, but I think if we can counter out, we should. Ooh, quick block here on the Ichiji. I think I would have let that go, personally. But it also depends on what's in the hand. We don't remember because there's so much. You have another Ichiji. Maybe, no other Ichiji. We have the Black Bug. We have 8K counter, so we're pretty safe here for the most part. But we did not grab the blocker on that last hand. So we will choose to discard the Black Bug. We don't need it. We grab the Searcher to search through some more, trying to find an Ichiji. We do find the Ichiji to put on the aggression. And now I think we're in a tough spot. So what do we do here? We could go 3, Dawn -1, play 4. Do we go for board, he says. I think you have to go for board at this point or you just lose because you have the counter to get out of... Well, they can just go 12 in a face and check if you do. This is a tough spot to be in as our Reiju player. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I think you have to clear board because if not, even with a 12 and 15, you lose. So I think you have to go for clearing board, which again shows signs of weakness at this point of the game. What do we do here? I think this is a very difficult matchup. We're going in aggressively. This is an interesting play to me. I think at this point you did need to counter out or to go into board, but maybe that's because you just wanted to get the counter out of hand that you chose to do. So now we're going to show, hey, we do have this. We get the blocker off the top, the blocker being very important. So now we go for board. I think you have to go for board. If you don't, that would be wild. We still have the 2 Dawns, so we can go 6 into... He says if we can kill that, I think we're okay. So he gets out the Ichiji, goes -2 here, and then you could go 8 into the Lin, that now she is a 6K. It would be a 2 and a 1, and then a 2K, and then possibly another 2K, every single card in hand, if our player can counter out our Katakuri player. That's a sign of weakness right there. So now we show, hey, you're just taking these? That's kind of wild to me. You have 2 Dawn up. They really want to protect the Parasparrow. I think that might be incorrect. So he's trying to decide what you do here, because you could counter out easily of the 5K, get through the 10 lens. So we just go into face here, not too stressed, because you can counter both of the 5s and be pretty safe, especially with a blocker on the board. There's so much going on here. This is a high-level game. You guys are so good. My goodness. We have an amazing group here in the One Piece card game. My gosh. So what do we do here at the Katakuri's position? You have removal to then draw 1 more card if you drop the Sanji, but then you're dropping a blocker that you do have on the board against a very aggressive board. Or do we choose to maybe drop a 7 Lin, see if we can force out that last life, and then go 9, 5, 9, and 12 in a face, which the Reiju player could take and just block out of the 12, countering out of the 9, just to really bait in our player. This is really difficult position for our Katakuri, and I don't know what to do. They drop this to get rid of the blocker being very interesting. We are going for game, it looks like. That, again, may be a sign of weakness. 12 into face, I think that was a misplay, because now it's going to be 11. 11 will be countered out, and we know it will. Choosing to lose. Oh my gosh! I think you found something. Finding the 0 cost event and putting it to the bottom of life is crazy. They get out of the 11K because they have to. You swing 5 with Parasparrow for sure in this position. The 0 cost event? The 0 cost event? You did? Bruh. So to fill you in real quick, she did put the 0 cost event on the bottom, or at least she believes she clicked it, and then it went to the top. So she misclicked, or the sim just did not activate properly, putting the 0 cost event to the bottom. So it's at the top. Choosing to lose. She said she doesn't like the sim. She's saying it's sim problems. You have to go for game here. You have to go for game. It's just 7s all around. I think you start with 7s. Well, they could be playing triggers here. They get out aggressively. 7 again. That would be all the cards in the hand of the Katakuri. We're hoping for a good trigger. We are hoping for a good trigger. 7 into face. What do we do? Do we take? We counter. The 0 cost did not go to the bottom. That was a sim error. That was a sim error. We had to take. Frankie trigger. Draw 1. It's guaranteed lethal. GG's. GG's. That was such a stressful game over here casting it. That was wild. So I will tell you, there was a sim error there. You saw that? So she was supposed to put the zero cost event at the bottom of life, and I think she would have won the game because it would have been the Sanji blocker. She was supposed to put it on the bottom right there, and then the Sanji would have gone to the top of life, discarding the Lin Lin, so she would have had a 2k counter and a blocker off the top for the trigger. It would have triggered out the blocker, she would have blocked the last attack. To start, what would you do about that whole situation? Because I was kind of up in the air about it. It was cool, at least it was someone local, because someone else might have been upset about the sim just not putting it on top versus bottom or just misclicking, because that is part of the sim play. But I guess that's what you expect with the sim. Anyways, now that we've seen Andy took it home with Reiju, now we have to find out if he really means it. If is he really about it? Does he really want to take on the big boss? Now, I'm not a One Piece professional, but I am a content creator, and I do a lot of card stuff a lot of the time, as you can see, with UFC, Pokemon, and One Piece right there, a Black Label manga Zoro. I'm pretty serious about this thing, and I have probably 80 to 100 videos already on the channel. So, let's get into the games tomorrow. As you'll see, Andy will make his choice, and either way, we will play to see what he would get if he would win, or if he does take me on, we'll see if he does take it all home. So the cool part about being the boss monster in this whole situation is that if someone takes me on, I get to be the boss, meaning that I get to choose between 3 different decks that I get to play against for my opponent. The first one will be Boa Hancock. I think this one's going to be really fun. It's not one I've really played on the channel, but it's one I've grown to really like, especially because it's just doned me a few times. So I've taken this list to a few sim games and found out I really like it. So we're going to be playing the Mihawks, the Doflamingos, one-ofs, just to bottom deck some cards. Sometimes that is really important, especially something we'll see into the Reiju matchup. The Kaido will bounce back an 8 or a 3. And I think that'll do great in a Katakuri, getting rid of Chump Blocker, or just getting rid of Katakuri, returning Kaya to my hand, or something like that. I think there's just so much with this Warlord package. Obviously, that's why Doflamingo is so meta. So basically, we brought Doflamingo, but different, into the format, being an off-meta tournament. So I'm super excited to take this list out, especially because we're running a lot of just Chump Blockers to get through big bodies and such, and we, of course, run Pudding, which I think will do so good into most of the matchups other than Reiju. I think Reiju, it doesn't do too much. My second list, and one of my favorite decks right now in the EBO2 or OP11 format, is going to be Calgara. I think this deck's really good, but obviously we're in the OP09 format for the tournament because OP10 is not released yet here in the US, so as the time of recording, I should say. With that being said, we are playing just a usual Calgara list. This is the same one that I've used on the channel already. It's the one I bring to locals, and I just popped in the Ace instead of the 10-drop Enel we were running. I think El Thor's really good. I think Raigo's going to do great into Mahdi's decks that go big. I think just spamming the board does very well in this tournament style. Having 5/7s or 6/8s, I think just does really well. So I'm excited to see how we do in the format with a deck like Calgara against certain matchups. Hello Betty, I think would be tough for this deck, so probably not going to use it for that one, but I think there's other decks in the format that I would have a really good time into. Our final list, and one that I've actually never explored, is going to be Smoker right here. Smoker obviously abusing Gecko Moria, Rebecca combos into Brooke or Hina or Kobe. Any of these. We can even grab Tashigi for a 2k counter back to hand, a blocker back to hand, add this Tashigi back to hand with this, or we can use the Jack to add the Jack back to hand, or the T-Bone. There's so many great targets in the Smoker deck. Even though Smoker has such a mid ability, at the end of the day, it pairs well with cards like Tashigi only being able to be used in Smoker, so we'll have to see how this deck turns out if we use it in the format. I think obviously a black deck's going to do well into any deck list, and I think it's one of the underrated decks in the format, having only one entry into this tournament style. It's one that's not banned, and I was really surprised not to see it because this deck has made waves in the Japanese meta right now, and the Eastern meta I should say, and I think it's going to return with Marshall D. Teach being such a prevalent deck as long as Kuzan is not banned. So these are going to be the 3 decks that I will be taking. These are the 3 decks I will be taking to the format, and we'll see who we play at the end and then decide. Honestly, I think it's just a pick and choose at this point. I think I chose 3 of the best decks, but we'll have to see because I don't want to give up my box of PBR1. I just don't. So let's see if we can take somebody down with this at the end, and if they don't want to play at the end, we'll still play them to see if they could have won it all. Anyways, let's continue on with the tournament and get into the next round. So we're in the final round. If you choose to take it, how do you feel? Do you want to upgrade or you want to go just OP09?
I want to upgrade. I've seen people pull OP09 boxes open at locals, and they always get the bottom of the barrel. So not to say that's always the case, but I'm willing to go the final round.
All right, that's a risky choice, but I like it. I like a risky choice here. So either you'll get 8 packs from OP09, or you'll get the PBR 1 pack. So either way, or the PBR 1 box. So either way, you're still the winner. All right, then we will leave the Discord calls. We'll join a game. I have 3 choices to make between my decks. That was part of what my side was, being the boss. I get to choose between Calgara, Boa, or Smoker. And I think I know my choice.
I'm gonna get wrecked.
With that being in mind, do you want to change your mind?
I even without the support, which it doesn't get much support.
He thinks I'm going Calgara. I'll tell you now, I'm not playing Calgara.
What were the other two options, just so I kind of idea?
Boa and Smoker.
I feel better against those, even though I know Smoker can smoke on me a little bit, but I'm fine with if those are the choices. Calgara just I'll gladly face either. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Cool. Then let me open up my sim. We'll get into a game and get it in.
Alright.
I think I'm gonna go with the Boa. I think we're going Boa. I think Smoker's just not my cup of tea. I think Boa's more of what I like. Alright, I'm gonna start the lobby. I will take first from you. I'm not letting that happen. Any purple deck, I'm just taking first every time.
Alright.
I think we keep this, because we can go into the blocker, at least be safe. We can go Law in the beginning. I think we keep for the start. We can also go into Dofi and stack on the next turn, so I don't mind that. Your go. Just dropping my Law blocker. I gotta smack talk. I gotta get in his head. I don't want to lose my box of PBR. I just had my cat poop in the room. I am cooked, guys. My cat just pooped in the room. It smells so bad. I might get nuked out, man. We gotta drink some pineapple juice, bro. Alright, so we're assuming they don't have stage, but they do. Of course, they always have stage. They drop Porsche, meaning they probably have another Porsche. They grab a Niji to get the Niji, probably, which would be really good paired with this character. Popping our Law for free, so we need to get actual activity out of the Law very soon. I think we just go a simple 5 in a face. It should just be 1 card out of hand. 5 at you, my friend. Oh, they take aggressively. I like that. I like this. I don't like everything else, but we could also search on the next turn, knowing we're going into 5, and then draw into another Dofi. So I think we draw... Oh, no, because we'd have to... Oh, so we'll draw this for the Gravity Blade to bottom deck 2 characters, and then we'll have the Doflamingo blocker as our Sengoku target. So I think that's going to be really good, and then we'll pass turn there. Putting us at 4 cards in hand, so once we do start getting some removal and some bottom decking, we can start drawing. We can also counter out aggressively. We don't know if they have a Chi-Chi. They have 7 whole cards in hand, meaning they are stacked up, bricked up, good to go. The pressure's on, and it's not on for just them, because it's my box of PBR I could be losing. But then it's still my box of OP09 I'm losing. So either way, I'm the loser here, guys. What's up with that? We get to this final round. This is crazy. This is so stressful. 6 at face. Do we counter out aggressively? I think we take value 3 up. I think we take value out of the Law. They bounce our Doflamingo. I think we're okay with that. I think we just get value out of the Law now in case it is a Niji play, because it's a Porsche play instead. But I think we do have to be worried about Niji, knowing that they did grab one. They grab a Tony Chopper. They could just go for the blocker here, but then we could just go straight Jinbei into Crocodile and totally get rid of what the plan was before. They do get the Ichiji rather than Niji. Obviously, that's going to also be a good choice, going very aggressive, but I think we'll just take a 7. I'm fine taking, especially knowing that it's such a big body on the board. We have to be a little worried about it, but if they don't have the Ichiji... Oh, did they just grab it? Oh, we just grabbed the Ichiji. We're cooked, but that would put them down to 4 Dawn already. So they do go ahead and get the Chi-Chi out. They give minus 2,000 power to the Doflamingo. Obviously, we're not worried about that. We take aggressively here, and we don't want to give that Porsche back into their hand, especially knowing what we're about to do to them. So we're going to put them through a cycle. We're going to go 5 in a face here and do everything we talked about before. Just going Jinbei into... We will play out Sengoku. Sengoku will grab that Doflamingo, and then we will Jinbei into Doflamingo, getting another blocker, and getting to stack up again. I don't know if Josu's going to be good because it returns 6 cost. I really am looking for my top end or Red Rocks, I think, at this point, to get rid of a Chi-Chi. I don't know. We get rid of Niji, but he just goes back to hand as fodder for the leader effect, so I think that puts us in a tough spot. I think we're really looking for bottom decking here, so we're going to put that at bottom. I think 2 Grab Blades is just a little too much for what we're trying to do, and then we'll just pass turn. My goodness, there's a lot of pressure on. There's a lot of pressure here. I think I chose the wrong deck to play, but I think I chose the one I like the most, so I'm okay with this. 5 in a face, I think we should counter. I don't know if there's any 4-drops that we really want to block out of here, because I don't want to take, and I don't want to give up my blockers just yet. I want to find something big, so I could take aggressively, but I think I just give them a 1k here. Get rid of the Law, because again, there's not 4 cost I really want to take care of in this point, and so we will probably take... We could counter and then take, but this Kaya will help us search for options. I think we're okay taking here, looking for more targets. We find the Sengoku. Sengoku could find us more options as well. They leave 3 up, able to bounce a body back to hand. I think we take again. I know this might seem crazy, what I'm about to say, but we'll have to see what they choose to play. Another Porsche. They're high rolling like a mug. High rolling like a mug. We need to be able to shut this down as soon as possible. So we're going to see what they choose to play out. It could be a Niji to bounce back one of our blockers because we won't have time to put down a blocker. Yep, Niji is a great choice here for our opponent. Bouncing back, probably Jinbei back to hand, taking off a lot of aggression. They do drop the blocker from hand for the Tony Chopper, and they choose to not do anything at all. That's pretty good. That is pretty good here because we will be able to burn some cards out of hand, I believe. We could go 5 in a face, just bottom deck these 2. Are we stressed about the Niji? I don't think so. I think they're keeping the Niji. We'll go 5 here, and they should counter out aggressively, in my opinion. Definitely if you have characters like that, I think you counter aggressively. I think we will bottom deck to draw as well. So we will just probably get rid of the 2 Porsches. I don't think we're worried about Niji bouncing something back to our hand. I think we have to just accept that. But also, if they have another Ichiji, that puts us in a tough spot. So it's if they bounce one of the blockers, it guarantees only a counter in hand. So do we get rid of the Porsches or the Niji here? I know I'm doing this. There's probably other lines I'm not thinking of. We probably could have Sengoku, done some other shenanigans. I'm trying to decide what I want to Grav Blade here.
That's a tough call. I get it.
I think we go with Niji, because this will put them to 5. There's a reason they want to go to 5, so that they can go Ichiji, swing. I think we get rid of Niji and draw a card. We do get our bottom deck here, so we just need to survive 1 turn. I think getting rid of the Niji, since we did draw that, I think that was the correct choice. We have a good amount of counters, so we're not too worried about what they could throw. We have a solid 6k counter. We have 2 blockers on the board, so we're still pretty safe here, and we can start building tall. Especially being able to bottom deck the 7-cost Ichiji, when I think they've only found 1 at this point. So we can easily save this with just a 1k. I think we give them the law and keep our Jinbei on the board. So they have 5 active. What do? They could bottom deck. Are we worried about a bottom deck? Do we want to search some more? Because we will be at 9. So we could Sengoku on the next turn, which I think won't be bad. How bad do I want Sengoku? But this guarantees I have to give up a blocker if they swing this. This I don't have to, but I might. Let's go Sengoku. Let's go crazy mode. Let's keep the aggression on. But now if they have an Ichiji, we're cooked from that play. But they have a Reiju instead. They might have double Niji here, drawing into something very good. Hopefully not too good. They could Porsche again. They drop the Ichiji from stage. This guy's actually a really good player. Guys, you guys are actually good at the game. That surprises me. They grab another Niji here, grabbing the 5-cost Niji, probably being one of the only options they have, knowing that they don't have another one in trash. So they might have the small one in hand, possibly just to bounce back our blocker or our Jinbei. I think either option is a great target here at this point. We will have 2 extra Dawn to go 7 into Porsche, but we know they just drew a big hand size, and they have another Porsche. Are you telling me 3 Porsches in one game? No, that's all 4 Porsches. 3 here, 1 in trash, 1 bottom decked. All 4 Porsches. All 4 Porsches. High roller. I think even in Smoker, this would still be cooked. And I think if I would have played Calgara, it would be cooked as well. Wow. So what do you play out here with the Porsche? You could go Black Maria just to get your Dawn back, because you would be at 7 Dawn in the next turn. Choosing to not play anything is kind of good for what we're trying to do. So we're going to go 5 into Porsche here. And we're just going to try to get rid of cards in hand, I guess. Do we go with the Law blocker? But then they could just Niji pretty safely. I think we need to have the blocker on board at this point, though, because we will be able to draw a card off of this. Would we rather go 7, but then if they counter out, we're kind of cooked. I think having the blocker on board is better, because 5 swings next turn, only 2 life, 2 blockers, or would we rather have 3 cards in hand, then they just refill again? I think either way, we're in a tough spot here. So we definitely need to be able to... I think we go 6. I think we have to go 6, just take a 2k out of hand. It's just part of where we're at in the game. I think we play this, bottom deck the Ichiji and draw, and then we'll play down a blocker and pass. So at least we're developing board. We basically got rid of their 7 for our 7. They drop an Ichiji. They should be able to find another one pretty easily here. They get a Reiju instead, allowing them to basically filter more cards. So just like we said, even going 7, they would just refill their hand. So we're still in a difficult position. We do have the 10 cost, meaning we're getting rid of their babies, and we can bounce back 2 characters next turn. So we should, at this point in the game, I think we just give up our characters. I don't think it's worth countering out of this. I think we just let it go. Jinbei did get his utility there. And I think we have to counter out of this one. We will give up a Jinbei because we know we're going to 10 drop on the next turn. I think we counter out of this as well, just in case they go... No, they could only go 6 and then 7, so I think we take because we're going to give them a 2k either way. So I think it puts them in a weird spot. We will counter out of this one with a 2k, and then we'll be able to bounce some characters this turn and hopefully clear the board. Probably not, though. Leaving our 2 blockers is going to be very good. We should have gotten value out of the law again, as we did earlier, in case they do need G. We know they're going to raid you. They may need G, but I think you raid you first and then decide, because you will get to draw 2 and then 1 for leader, putting you back to 8 cards in hand. Another Gravity Blade might be good here, but it depends on what they're developing on the board. They also have Black Bug as an amazing possibility, because we did see them have that as an option in the deck, which is something I run in the deck. So I would say they did pretty good in that one. We will be able to bounce some characters here. The Porsche may be a good option. They get the Black Maria. We definitely don't want to return that to hand. At this point, we're already at the point of no return. So we could bounce 2 of these characters. I think we go into face first, or into bodies. So get some cards out of hand. We'll go 5 into Porsche, and then probably 7 into Porsche, just to see what they do choose to do here. Now what do you do? He said, so they block out. So I think we 10 Kaido. We bounce. I think the draw is okay. I think we'd put those 2 and draw a card. That at least gives us another 2k counter, so we should be safe. We have some big bodies. Guys, I'm stressed. The pressure is on. How are you feeling so far?
I'm feeling okay.
He's feeling fine. He's feeling fine!
The Kata game was much more stressful.
The disrespect. He didn't want to play Calgar. I let him have it, man. I should have done it. We do have the Red Rock in case they do drop an Ichiji. We want to get rid of it as well. But I think our biggest worry is if they have little Ichijis, which we've only seen 1 of, and it looks like he may be stacking up in hand. 8 cards and only 20 cards left in deck. At this point of the game, that's crazy. That's crazy. You're at 10 Dawn. Your Black Maria is amazing at this point. We could have handed him another 2k, but 6 in the face, we will be able to 2k counter out of this pretty easily here. We'll see double Ichiji, it looks like. Possibly Porsche 8-8. I think we counter out of this one as well. We are in a very difficult spot. I think we just are cooked at this point, because if he does double Ichiji, Porsche, grabs a chopper, they could even get the blocker on the board to really save what they're trying to do, and they have been stacking up the Ichijis in this matchup. That's going to be a very high-level play here. So they can choose to go into board. Obviously, if they go into board, we will... If we block, though, we just lose. That's the issue, is that we are so far behind that if we block, we lose. As seen here. We will probably see... They could 5-drop on us. They probably should have played a 5-drop Niji there, KO the blocker, and then forced out both blockers. Double Ichiji is going to be fine. I mean, if they go into face, we're okay. If they don't, my goodness. Call it a day. There's nothing we could have done there, like, honestly. I'm not letting you have it! If I'm going to die, I'm not letting you have it! Well, guys, I think you know what we have to do here. 7 into face. Trust, I'm not going to kill you. Trust, for real. No, you're not supposed to do that. Oh, frick.
Yeah, I'll take that.
I got you. Yep. Bottom deck your Black Maria with a Red Rock.
I had to blink a few times. I was like...
Yeah, I think it's guaranteed. GG. Should have played Calgara. My goodness.
That was fun.
That was fun. That was I was gonna say a close one, but it wasn't.
It seemed okay at the beginning, and then I was like, "Where's your the bouncing?" I was like, I was supposed to get the bounce, and then I'm like, "Where's the bounce?"
Yeah, there was no bounce. I was not bouncing on it, my friend. You are now the winner of a premium booster box. How does that feel?
Feels good. Feels really good.
Just for subscribing to a YouTuber who has 500 subscribers, now 800, yeah. But that's pretty good. That's pretty good return on investment. So I would say everyone should subscribe if they're watching this.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I appreciate you for joining the tournament. We'll talk after this, obviously, for like mailing it to you, because I will be mailing it to you. So sweet. I appreciate the game. Thank you so much. If you have anything to say, any shout outs, closing statements, anything like that, you got the time now. Any YouTubers, any YouTube you do, any videos, whatever, shout it out.
For me, I don't do any YouTubes. I just play on the side here. I want to just thank my wife for giving me the time to do this, taking care of our son while I have a little time off to play the hobby.
W wife. That's awesome. That's actually really cool. And now you can say, hey, it was actually worth my time. Like, you can be like, hey, I got this $250 box or whatever premium booster's up to, so.
Yeah, no, she'll be real happy.
Cool. Well, GG's. That's going to be it for that one. And thank you so much for joining.
GG's. Thank you, Mr. Proud. You have a good one, man.
You too. Thank you. As you saw, guys, I got cooked in the end, but that was so much fun. I just wanted to run Boa. I've been playing Boa so much on the sim, and I was like kind of excited to play it. I don't think it was great into Rage 2. I thought maybe the bottom decking and everything would be good, but finding 4 Porsches in one match is crazy. I didn't even mention that to him. 4 Porsches. I don't think any of those decks win with that kind of tempo. I think when Reiju high rolled, you just lose, and that was the perfect time to high roll. So I'm so excited to ship that out to him. And if you want to join into future tournaments and just join the One Piece family that we're growing on the Discord, join the Discord down below. I'll see you in the next one. I love you and your mama. This was so much fun, and I'm so excited to do this again. So thank you so much. I love you guys so much. Genuinely, you guys have given me stuff to do with my time I never expected to do. Just enjoying a hobby that I already love. So thank you so much. I mean it. I appreciate it so much. Getting to already 800 and some subs, like, you guys are so awesome. I can't wait to hit 1,000, start doing streams with you guys, playing games with you guys, doing stuff like. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next one, and bye.